A Whole New World is a retro side-scroller created by Mad Gear Games. You play as a mysterious hooded hero who's attempting to collect the 5 cores from the evil Lord Baddock. After beating each level, you are rewarded with new skills, like the ability to double jump. You also get new potions. These serve as your attacks. You can cycle through them in any order to give yourself the best advantage for fighting enemies. You start off with a lobbing attack, which is reminiscent of early Castlevania games, and end up with a lightning wall, a fire ice ricochet attack, and a straight up sonic boom. Alongside you is a fairy friend named Faye, who can charge up a strong energy blast. As you can probably tell just by looking at this game, it takes a lot of inspiration from old school NES games. Not only does it do that in appearance, but the music is incredibly 8-bit inspired, as well as the difficulty. It really draws from the challenge pool. But it toes the line more into the unfair nonsense as opposed to raw challenge. It has the endless respawning enemies, bosses with insane amounts of health, swarms of enemies at once, levels with cryptic paths that give you a what am I supposed to do mindset, and my least favorite of all, getting knocked back with every single hit. And the thing is, you can probably argue that these are all the staples of old school side-scrollers, and that Mad Gear Games should be commended for recreating that perfectly. Or maybe I should just get good, but my issue is the frustration outweighs the enjoyment. Now, it's not completely unfair. You are given some lives in which you'll respawn right where you died. After losing all of your lives, you'll be sent back to the last checkpoint, which are generously scattered around. So it seems like even the developers realized their game was a bit on the hard side, and decided to toss you a bone by adding in checkpoints. It's a nice gesture, but you still die a whole lot. It's like if someone gave you a bowl of cereal, but every few bites you take, they start to pee in it. Well, now I'm not enjoying my cereal. Oh, I'm sorry, they say, here's a new bowl. And you think that was a nice gesture, but then you notice they start chugging diuretic. For example, there was one death I had where I fell into a hole and at the bottom was an inescapable pit of spikes and monsters. I had to sit and wait for about a minute as it chipped away at my health until it eventually took all of my lives. Now, this wouldn't be so bad if jumping in holes wasn't a huge part of the game. Oh yeah, the reason the game is called A Whole New World is because throughout most levels you jump into holes that take you to an inverted version of that level. You'll find more enemies and treasures and such, but these aren't really secret paths. They are required to progress through the game and it doesn't add anything. As for the treasure you collect, they simply increase your score. What does an increased score do? I have no idea. Older games had a high score system, so I suppose this does too. My only guess is that you are meant to play through multiple times because it is an extremely short game. 7 stages that can be cleared somewhere between 2 to 4 hours depending on your struggle with the bosses. Okay, I feel like I've been really hard on this game, so let me talk about the stuff I liked. A lot of the art design was really nice. There were some genuinely creepy backgrounds and creatures. Like, look at that. Some rotting demon horse? That's awesome. And I just mentioned the struggle with bosses. The bosses were my favorite part of the game. The levels I tried to sprint through as fast as I could, but the bosses had some cool designs and attacks. And although they killed me a billion times, including a few times where we killed each other at the same time, they didn't feel unfair. They were full of attacks that you had to learn and be ready for. Defeating them did give me a genuine feel of accomplishment. Until the final boss. Man, I was trying to stay positive, but this final boss is the cheapest, cruelest, most BS boss I've fought in a long time. You actually fight him in the first level where he one-shots you. It gives you this feeling of, oh man, I cannot wait to get stronger to get my revenge. But guess what? That one-shot move is actually still in his arsenal. That wasn't just a cutscene attack to signify the difference of power between you two. He will use that attack time and time again. I died so many times that I had to look up a tutorial and realized that the slide attack can be used as a parry. This is never explained in game. With this new knowledge, I began the fight anew and still couldn't win. I didn't beat him, okay? He kept killing me. I gave up. I never got good, and you know what? I don't care. The frustration fully outweighed the fun at this point, and there's nothing this game could reward me with that would have made it worth it. And what it does reward you with is a boss rush mode and a new game plus. So points to them for actually giving you something upon completion, but I'm not biting on it. If you are missing the intense games of your past, your Mega Mans or Castlevanias or Ninja Gaidens, then this game is completely up your alley. And for a $10 price, that may even sweeten the deal for you more. But for me, I felt like I was pushing through this game just to finish a review as opposed to actually having a good time. That, with the insane difficulty curve, makes me think you can ditch this game.